Good evening and welcome to our March 24th City Council meeting, our Stafford City Council meeting. Um, Councilwoman Bratner is excused. Otherwise, we do have everybody else is present. I will lead the pledge and then please remain standing. The invocation will be given by Deacon Carl Vessels from St. Rosa Lima. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Father of love and mercy, we praise you, we love you. We thank you for counting us worthy to stand before you and serve you by serving those who need. We ask that you give us the wisdom to know what needs to be done for our city, the courage to carry it through, and the perseverance to never give up. We ask this through our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Deacon. Okay, then, any comment on any citizen comments on agenda items? No. On non-agenda items? No. Okay, then we'll move on to item number 7, the proclamation. It's the Week of the Young Child, 2025.
Thank you, Mayor. We have Sherry Elkins here, and she'll be giving a few words on this.
I'm Sherry Elkins, and I'm the Regional Director for First Things First for the Graham-Greeley region. First Things First is Arizona's early childhood system. And just a little bit about it, it's funded through a tobacco tax, and the good news is smoking is going down. The bad news is that means our funding is going down. So we're in the process of trying to tie vaping tax to our tobacco tax, so increase our revenue so we can continue funding the programs that we do fund. We have an 11-member volunteer council that decides the needs of our region here in Graham and Greeley counties. And we're very proud that one of our grant partners is the Stafford City Library, and we fund the Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, as well as the literacy story times here at the library. So we're very proud of that. The reason I'm here tonight is hoping that you will join me in recognizing the importance of early childhood development by signing the proclamation that declares April 5th through the 11th, 2025 as Week of the Young Child here in Stafford, Arizona. High-quality early childhood experiences lay the foundation for lifelong success, benefiting not only children and families, but also the broader community through improved educational outcomes and economic growth. This proclamation will help raise awareness about the critical role early learning plays in strengthening our community and shaping our young children's future. I've brought with me some children's books for each of you with a challenge to find a young child to read it to, and then you can either give them the book when you're done, or you can hang on to it and read it to another young child. So can I give those to you? Okay. Inside is a resource guide. It's specific to young families. It has phone numbers for everything that we've been able to identify that would be needs for young children and their families. We're in the process of updating right now, so if you see something that you think should be in there or a phone number that's wrong, we'd love to know about that so that we can get it updated as much as we can. It's also available online. If that's something that would be beneficial to your office, we can get some of these resource guides for families when they come in. So,
I would just like to say that, thank you. I know I'll be very proud to sign a proclamation like that because the youth, the young ones, they are so important to us. And with this world out there now the way it is, we have to really be close to them and love them. Thank you.
thank you.
I'll go ahead and read the proclamation. Excuse my voice, I've been sick, so if it starts to taper away. First things first, Arizona Association for the Education of Young Children, Southern Arizona Association for the Education of Young Children Week of the Young Child of 2025 proclamation. Whereas all of Arizona children deserve access to quality early care and education through environments, and whereas quality and childcare programs build children's lifelong learning skills during the critical years from birth to age of 5, and whereas ECE teachers and childcare providers are the essential workforce that helps Arizona parents get to work or school, and whereas funding quality childcare is a smart investment that improves family well-being, strengthens communities, and grows our state's prosperity. Whereas First Things First Arizona Association for the Education of Young Children, Southern Arizona Association for the Education of Young Children, and other community organizations in conjunction with the National Association for Education of Young Children are celebrating the 54th anniversary of the Week of the Young Child. And whereas these organizations are working to improve equitable early childhood opportunities that provide a strong start for children in Safford, Arizona. And whereas the public policies that support ECE for Arizona's youngest learners help our families, communities, and the economy thrive.
Is now joining.
Now, therefore, Mayor Ortega does hereby proclaim April 5th through the 11th of 2025 as the Week of the Young Child in Safford, Arizona, and encourage all citizens to support and invest in early care and education in our community.
Thank you. We appreciate your support. And if possible, could we get a picture with the council? They're collecting these across the state. So if I happen to have 2 sons here today, I'm hoping one of them will take a picture for me.
Right now.
Mayor, you'll need a motion and a vote for it.
Mayor, I move that we approve the proclamation of Week of the Young Child 2025 as from April 5th to April 11th.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the week for the young child of 2025. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now we can come down. Okay, then we'll move on to item number 8. It's a presentation from the Light Up the World Giving Machine.
Mayor Ortega, council members. I am not Mark Harrington. My name is Todd Haney. I am also not representing Eastern Arizona College, as some of you may know, in my professional capacity, but rather I'm representing the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and its Light the World initiative through the giving machines that have been here in the Gila Valley at the City of Safford building here for the past 3 years. The purpose of the giving machines is an opportunity to lift individuals and unite communities through Christ-like service. We intend these machines to be a blessing to all those who give as well as to those who receive. True service in the Christian spirit is a blessing for all that is really fully impossible to calculate. First of all, I'd like to thank the City of Safford, the employees of the city that have helped coordinate this event, the mayor, the council members, to Mr. John Casella, for all of the assistance over the past 3 years as we've held very successful launch events and the Giving Machine Initiative here in the Gila Valley and at the City of Safford. There are no administrative fees assessed for the donation. All of the donations go to the selected organizations. For the machines here in the Gila Valley this year, there were 7 charitable organizations from around the world, representative 3 of which were from 3 local charities: the Mount Graham Safe House, Our Neighbors Farm and Pantry, and the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. Over half of the total contributions received at our giving machines were made to our 3 local organizations. We calculate the value of these contributions based on the lives impacted, not just on the dollars donated. For the Mount Graham Safe House, we estimate 1,857 lives are impacted by those donations. For Our Neighbors Farm and Pantry, we estimate 1,158 lives impacted. And for the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, we estimate 7,441 lives impacted, for a total of 10,456 lives impacted here in the Gila Valley alone. Tonight, we are presenting checks to each of the 3 local organizations, and presenting these 3 checks are Allie Frost, presenting to the Mount Graham Safe House, Emily Clontz, presenting to the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, and Cord Clontz, presenting to Our Neighbors Farm and Pantry. We'd like to take care of that now and get a photo with the mayor and the city council if we could.
Hi, I'm Allie Frost, and I handle Just Serve in Thatcher, Arizona. And I am pleased to be able to give a check and a gift today to the Mount Graham Safe House. So just so you know, some of the items that were in the giving machine are presented in this box. And so some of the money that they are given, we're going to ID documents, to school clothes, to shelter and yard upkeep of the building, to legal services, and even underclothes for the people that are staying there. So I'd like to bring up Brandy Burnett, and she is the outreach coordinator for the Mount Graham Safe House. And I'd like to present her with this check and also with this box that I'll hold for you. Yeah, do you want to? She was going to say something, and then do you want to do that? Okay, we'll give Brandy a few minutes to say something, and then we'll get a picture with everybody.
At least I don't have to do a big speech this time.
So before we
All right.
proceed, Mayor, can we let each one of them come up and present, and then we'll do the pictures at the end?
Sure.
So everybody who's going to get a check, come on up and make your presentation, and then we'll do pictures once everybody's done that.
I'm Brandy Burnett. I'm the outreach coordinator, and I would like to start off by saying thank you to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for letting the Mount Graham Safe House be a part of this wonderful opportunity with Light the World Giving Machine. The contribution that the community has donated to us and many others is absolutely amazing. Sorry, as well as absolutely amazing. This donation from all of you will help many of our clients and future clients as the year goes on. And I just want to say thank you one more time from all of us from the Mount Graham Safe House. Thank you.
I'm Emily Clontz with Just Serve in Safford, and I'd like to invite Linda Lopez up. And I'll let Linda tell you how it impacted their organization.
Hi, good evening. I'm Linda Lopez, and I'm here with Carolyn Vessels, my counterpart, but also just really would like to say thank you to everybody in this community that came and supported the Giving Machine Light of the World program. Absolutely fantastic. And these people that we worked with, wow, they helped us every step of the way. Also like to say thank you to the people that are down at St. Vincent de Paul for the tremendous amount of work that they do and kindness that they share to others. For us, it means that about 162 people will be provided with a night's sleep in a hotel someplace. 282 children will get new underwear and socks or shoes. That's a big, big deal. 75 people we may be able to provide some appliances to when there's a fire or a flood. 243 people will receive a gas card for out-of-town medical appointments, and 396 people will be able to assist with utility assistance. So for us, this is such a big, big deal. And I just want to say thank you to the city of Stafford. Thank you to the community. Oh my gosh, and thank you for helping us so much. It's appreciated.
And I'd just like to add the true heroes here are these nonprofits who work tirelessly for our community. They're the real heroes.
Good evening. My name is Cord Klontz. I'm a Just Serve specialist. My job is to go out and find and work with these beautiful nonprofits and look for opportunities to invite our community to come and serve. And so this evening, I'll invite our neighbors Farm and Pantry to come up and tell you a little bit about what they're receiving tonight.
Good evening. I'm Bonnie Dalzine. I'm the executive director of our Neighbors Farm and Pantry. And first of all, we'd like to say thank you, big time. This is going to help probably over 1,000 families total. And when I say 1,000 families total, it could even be more. It's a lot of single parents that are struggling right now that can't afford the basics: meat, milk, eggs, cheese, just some of the very things that we take for granted. They come once a month. They choose their own food. We do not choose it for them. They're allowed to choose anything from bread items to bakery items. We have fruits and vegetables, not only out of our farm, but what we get from Food Rescue. This money is so important because it keeps us going in the pantry to supply things that we normally do not have, and that's milk, eggs, and meat. Those are big staples that we normally do not get. And with all the cutbacks that are happening this year, we're going to be struggling even more. So this is a real blessing that we have this extra funding to supply some of these basic needs to the parents and the families that come into us. A very quick 2 stories. In December, we had a mom, single mom, has 9 kids. She was embarrassed to come in. We were just so excited that she even came in, and we made it a big deal for her. The kids got candy. We always have little extra toys and things to keep them busy while mom's doing her shopping. And she cried when she got ready to leave because she couldn't believe that it was all free and she didn't have to do anything. And again, we have other pantries that are in our area that are helping, and I know they probably have a lot of stories, but that's major when we see a mom coming in who's struggling, and we know we can make a difference in their life. Just last month, we had a lady who was celebrating her 48th birthday. And lo and behold, she showed up with 48 birthday kits, which are kits that are all ready to make a birthday cake. And she told us her story that quite a while ago, we helped her out. And for her 48th birthday, what she wanted to do was to give back these 48 birthday kits so other people could have birthday kits for their family members or their kids or whomever's birthday it was. And it's just another way that our community is giving back. People are so thankful to have that extra hand up, not hand out. And again, we're blessed and we're honored that we could be part of this. Thank you.
I'd just like to make a comment. Thank you for all that you do and all the people that work, all your volunteers that work with you. That's one reason this valley is such a treasured place to live, because of the good, fine people we have living here. God bless you and thanks again.
You guys gonna come down so they could do a photo op?
Yeah.
Camera shy.
Okay, we're going to close our regular meeting and reconvene into a Board of Adjustments session.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request by Mr. Green for the Board of Adjustment to approve a variance request to continue to exceed the maximum allowed square footage for metal shipping containers on Graham County parcel 104-22194, addressed as 402 Fifth Avenue. The property is zoned C2. The strategic goals involve are growth and development. Background, the Planning and Community Development Department is in receipt of a variance application from Mr. Green. The applicant is requesting a variance to exceed the maximum allowed square footage for metal storage containers, and you will see the specifics for that detailed in your staff report. And applicants for this variance have to provide accurate plot plans and evidence satisfactory to the Board of Adjustment of the ability and intention of the applicant to proceed with actual construction work within 120 days after any variance is submitted and allowed by the board. The board may also prescribe conditions as it may deem necessary to fully carry out the provisions and intent of this title. Such conditions applying to a variance may include, among other things, a time limitation for which the variance shall be valid. Violation of any condition shall render the variance null and void. You'll find 4 criteria that the board needs to find satisfied to issue a variance. Number 1, having to adhere strictly to the letter of this title will cause difficulties and hardships upon the petitioner which are unnecessary in order to carry out the purposes of this title. Number 2, special circumstances are attached to the property covered by the same application that do not apply to other properties in the same zone. Number 3, that because of said special circumstances, property covered by the application is deprived of privileges possessed by other properties in the same zone, and that the granting of the variance is essential to the enjoyment of property possessed by the other properties in the same zone. And number 4, the difficulties and hardships were not created by any act of the applicant subsequent to the effective date of the regulation appealed from. Mr. Green was given a variance by the Safford City Council on October 10th, 2022, which allowed him to keep the containers for a period of 2 years and required that they meet the setbacks on the property. The 2-year timeframe has expired, and Mr. Green was notified that he needs to remove the containers that exceeded the allowed square footage. The Safford City Council minutes from October 10th, 2022 are attached. Notice of the variance request was mailed to the property owners within 300 feet of the property, and we have had no response. It is staff's recommendation that the Board of Adjustment deny a variance from zoning ordinance section 17.12.250, finding that it does not meet the evidence requirements in section 17.88.040C, numbers 1, 2, or 3. And your attachments are the application, the request letter, a site plan, and a map, and the minutes of the October 10th, 2022 City Council meeting. And it is also staff's request that if this variance is granted, that the council direct staff to revise these regulations more in alignment with the variance. With that, I'll stand for questions.
Do you have any questions?
I don't really have, everybody's looking at me like I should have the questions, but as I stated when he asked for this 2 years ago, I don't think commercial properties should have to even come see us if they need containers on the property, so that's still my stance. As far as I'm concerned, they're already zoned for it and should be left alone. I know we want to sit there and make them build something we can tax, but that's kind of petty at some point. I think if these things are colored correctly, not graffitied, and hide a bunch of stuff that we don't want to see anyway. I, that's, I feel like that's the place for some of this stuff, and if we need to change the way we look at this, I'd suggest we bring it to a meeting and do that. That's just how I feel about it. I don't have any questions. I went by, it looks really good. I don't see the need to make them build a brick and mortar building to do what they're doing there. Other than it's against the rules.
Jamie, Mayor, thank you. What would need to change in the code for, obviously, the four criteria, those are where I try to fall back on, and if this doesn't fit any of those four conditions, then what would we need to change to make that more of a possibility?
Yes, Mayor Ortega, Councilman Hemphill. It would be the section 17.12.250 metal storage containers as a permanent use in commercial areas. That would be what needed to be updated. It's equivalent of 320 square feet currently.
Now, the first time this came before us, it was denied then too.
Mayor Ortega and Vice Mayor Lopez, no, sir, he was granted a 2-year time frame.
It was 2-year because we changed it then for the variance.
Yes.
And now he's asking for it to stay the same?
Yes, sir. And the applicant's representative is here tonight if you have questions for him as well.
So to remain the same, you asked for comments from people around. There was no comments.
Correct.
You can't see it from the highway. Nobody's been bothered by it. We did do it before. And I believe I read in there that he is taking bids now to accomplish what he said about that.
Yes, sir.
So he's just asking for the extension.
Yes, sir.
Did you say he's asking for an extension?
Yes, sir. It was granted for a 2-year time frame.
Extension
But
on
the
the,
time has run out.
Yes, sir.
an extension on the same, to remain the same.
Yes, sir. The containers are placed on the property.
Is there a new time frame?
That you could please ask the applicant, and they can give you a more detailed information about their project. But the information I have is that they are looking at building their brick and mortar warehouse currently.
Possibly the same time frame, 2 years, 2-year extension to try to get it done. Bids are starting to come in soon.
Yes, Mayor and Vice Mayor, that would be adequate.
If that was a motion, I second it.
Well, it hasn't been motioned. I'll motion it, but I'll add that if another 2 years is granted, either we need to change the code about the manufactured buildings, or we need to insist that, because again, if we've denied other people for not meeting any of those 4 conditions, and that's tough to do in a lot of those situations. So I'm not opposed to 2 more years, but if we want to change the code, we need to change the code.
I'm kind of not for changing the code because we have tried to deal with some blight areas in that same
Right.
area, and I wouldn't want that to go that direction. So I agree with the motion and the second.
I just have a question. Building the brick and mortar building, would there be any possibilities of that, the building itself, the retail building, part of the building, be expanded to at a later date? Yeah,
Mr. Green,
for storage.
if you could please go to the podium and speak into the mic.
Hello, I'm Nathan Green. Mr. Green is my grandpa in my mind, but so yeah, we right now we plan. Like I said, I do have bids. from Ward Brothers Metals, construction, to just basically build a steel, metal building there. We have one on that same property, but, so within, I probably don't really need the full 2 years. I just did that as the same time frame we did last time, but we are most likely, we won't connect it to our retail building. It'll stand separate from the retail building.
2 years would be good for you.
Yeah, that should be more than adequate.
Jimmy, do we need a motion the 2 years into the variance? Mayor, I move that we approve the David Green variance request for 2 years.
Second it with the amendment that we look at changing our code or dealing with that.
We need to vote on the amendment first, or can it?
I didn't hear the amendment.
I'm sorry, I second it, but also wanted to amend it so that we deal with this ordinance, whether we're going to change it or not. I want it to come up relatively soon.
Change it to be able to have containers there. That's the
Whatever we end up doing, we need to look at this so that we're not in this position again.
Yeah, I think at this point, rather than have an amendment that
I remove?
addresses it, why don't we just vote on the issue and then we can bring something back as a separate item with an amendment, because we don't know what it's going to be yet, right?
Well, that was part of Jamie's presentation, was that it should have a,
Right. So I think if you adopt it, so you're basically saying, as she wrote it, that we should then look, so that it doesn't need to be an amendment other than you're voting on it to not follow the staff's recommendation, allow the variance with the provision that we also revisit the code for an amendment to make the provision permanent.
correct.
that we revisit the code and, okay.
Right, so it's not an actual amendment now, it's
Okay.
just that he's basically saying, based on what the staff put forward, let's approve the variance with the idea of going forward and looking at making it a permanent code change, which we can bring back.
Okay, then we have a motion and a second to grant the 2-year extension on the variance request for David Green.
I'm sorry, I think I did that wrong in that it won't fly this way. I mean, he made the motion, I seconded part of it, and now unless we leave that out, I second is that what we want to do?
Yeah, I think you just want
Okay, I retract my amendment.
to, and then just simply have a second to the original motion.
Yeah, I do that.
We're there. Now we just vote.
Yes.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we'll close the Board of Adjustment session and reconvene into our regular session. We'll close the regular meeting and reconvene into a public hearing. The public hearing required by Arizona Revised Statute Section 42-17104 for the purpose of hearing, public hearing for rezoning parcel 102-19-062. We do them separate?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request for the Mayor and City Council to hold a public hearing for the proposed rezoning of Graham County Parcel 102-19062, addressed as 815 West Court Street. The rezone request is from the Conventional Manufactured Home District to the C3 Light Commercial District. The strategic goals are growth and development and pursuing infill opportunities. Planning and Community Development Department is in receipt of a rezone application from Charles Parnell for Graham County Parcel 102-19062, addressed as 815 West Court Street. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on February 18th, 2025, and has recommended approval. Analysis: this is the first step for the property owner to take in the redevelopment of this parcel. No engineering has been done for the property at this time, and the existing zoning isn't compatible with the applicant's desired uses. After that, in your staff report, you have the uses allowed in the conventional manufactured home district, and the C3 light commercial district. You'll notice that R2 zoning uses, which would be multiple family housing, is allowed by right. General plan compatibility. No amendment to this title shall be made in accordance without the general plan. It is public policy that this title shall not be amended unless it can be shown that the changed or changing conditions make the proposed amendment reasonably necessary. This property is in the Safford downtown character area in the City of Safford general plan. The downtown character area serves as the civic, cultural, arts, retail, and historic core of Safford and supports the following land uses: mixed use and higher density multifamily development. A neighborhood meeting was held on November 21st, 2024. No comment has been received by the office except for one applicant in favor at the neighborhood meeting. Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval for the following 3 reasons. The property is located south of another C3 zone property, which will allow for redevelopment of the property. Number 2, the area is appropriate for the development of multifamily housing and commercial offices. Number 3, the City of Safford has expended effort to remove deteriorated properties from within the city limits, and this project will continue that effort. I will stand for the questions, and the applicant is online for questions as well.
Anybody have any questions?
Mayor. Jamie, is this the kind of recessed?
Yes, Mayor and Councilman Hemphill, you'll notice the location there. It's behind the road that goes to the courthouse. The financial offices are there, and there's a lot of properties in that neighborhood that have been either demolished or sold and rehabilitated. Country Financial is probably the closest building, right there where it says C1 on the map.
Amy, there was a concern about one way in and one way back out. Is that going to remain the same?
No, Mayor and Vice Mayor, that was not a concern once we discussed it. It was a concern that was brought up at the initial neighborhood meeting, but it's not an actual concern. You'll see South 9th Avenue also touches the property there.
Yeah, that's the way it looked. I thought there was a gate on it or something, and somebody wasn't going to allow access.
No, sir, the applicant's father had installed that gate.
And you say planning and zoning approved it, but sometimes you've given us by what amounts, like 3 to 4 or 4 to 3 or unanimous or something.
I believe it was unanimous, but I could check the minutes for that.
Okay, I look for that sometimes, and I didn't see it on here.
Vice Mayor, it was a unanimous vote from the Planning and Zoning
Okay,
Committee.
that one was unanimous.
Anybody else?
I just have a question on this. We're zoning from the C manufactured housing. So we're zoning out of that to C3. What is allowed in CMH? Or what was it created for?
Yes, Mayor Ortega and Councilman McGoy. You'll notice on the bottom of the first page, the purpose of that zoning district is to provide a district where single-family conventional and manufactured homes may be interspersed. So on a lot of that nature, it would have one either manufactured home or conventional built home and an accessory dwelling unit on that parcel, if it retained its existing zoning.
I wasn't sure about, in that block, when I circle it, I don't see any manufactured housing, any mobile homes. I just thought maybe we had the wrong zoning on the whole neighborhood, but if it allows for single-family residences, then
Yes, Mayor Ortega and Councilman McGoy, that is one of the issues we're going to look at when we work on our general plan update this year. There are several issues within the city of Safford that have, for lack of a better term, an incorrect zoning, and none of those instances exist on the ground and they're built out, and we'll be looking at updating our zoning map at that time.
If that had been fixed a year ago, would we be here trying to do this anyway?
Mayor and Councilman McGoy, I'm not sure. This is the result of circumstances changing in their family. It was built in the 1930s, so possibly.
I'm just wondering if we need to do the whole neighborhood instead of just one spot.
Yes, sir. When we do the comprehensive review for the general plan update, we'll be looking at the entire map and what is on the ground and also future development as well. There are a lot of residences on Highway 191 that are zoned highway commercial. There are a lot of areas that need attention, and this happens to be one of them.
I'm excited for this rezoning. We've been long overdue.
Yes.
Anybody else? Okay, then we'll go on to item number 2, public hearing for rezoning a majority of parcel 101-07-157A and portions of parcel 101-07-157B and 101-07-092. That's the Webster rezone.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request for the Mayor and City Council to hold a public hearing for the proposed rezoning of a majority of Graham County parcel 101-07-157A and portions of
Dave Parnell is now exiting.
and portions of parcels 101-07-157B and 101-07092, addressed as 1302 and 1308 South First Avenue. The rezone request is from the C2 Highway Commercial District to the R2 Multiple Family Residential District. The same strategic goals hold for this rezone as well: growth and development. Planning and Community Development Department is in a receipt of a rezone application. The properties are currently split zone. Russ Webster will represent the applicant, and he is here this evening if you have any questions. Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on February 18th, 2025, and has recommended approval. Analysis: this is the first step for the property owner to take in the development of this parcel. No engineering has been done for the property at this time, and the existing zoning isn't compatible with the applicant's desired uses. Next, in your staff report, you will see the current and allowed uses for the highway commercial and the R2 zoning. This also must be in compatibility with the general plan in order to be amended. This property is in the Safford Neighborhoods Character Area in the City of Safford General Plan, and mixed-use and higher-density residential subdivisions should be located along arterial roads and provide appropriate transitions of mass, scale, and height when located adjacent to lower-density residential development. A neighborhood meeting was held on January 23, 2025. No one from the public attended, but one note was given in by Ms. Sarah Foote by mail. Actually, she had called the applicant stating she's concerned about increased traffic and asked who will pay for sidewalks in the area. Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval for the following 2 reasons. The property is currently split zoned, and this will correct that issue. Number 2, the City of Safford is in need of housing units of all types, and this zone change will allow for a multiple family development next to a similar development. And you will notice on the map that the multifamily apartments that are included in the zone change are the product that the applicant is looking at putting on the adjacent parcel. With that, I will stand for questions, and Mr. Webster is here as well.
Amy, what's the difference in the last applicant on this property and this one? Is it the story, the height?
Yes, Mayor and Councilman McGoy, they were looking at a mixed facility where they wanted the entire property to be zoned C2 and do a mixed product that had commercial uses on the bottom and residential uses on the top. And they didn't move forward with their project. They had a lot of neighbors that didn't want the commercial activity, and they didn't move forward with their project. And Mr. Webster and the cattle company are the current owners of the property. And they own the property on parcel 10107-157A with a residential product on it.
Thank you.
Amy, is coming out of 13th and 2nd Avenue, is that going to end up being blocked? They're only going to be able to come out the highway? Or
Yes, Mayor and Vice Mayor, we haven't done engineering of any of the product at this time, and it would involve the Arizona Department of Transportation as well as our Public Works Department and engineers to see what the traffic flow going out to 13th would look like, and or if they could do a shared driveway off of Highway 191, which would have to be approved by the Department of Transportation. So we have not gotten to that stage at this point.
it's coming out on 13th Street with 2nd Avenue, that's kind of rough. It's like an alley going out that way. We going to lose that?
We have not spoken with engineers yet, and they haven't spoken with Mr. Henry or Mr. Elkins at this point either.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay. Then we'll close the regular meeting and reconvene. We'll close the meeting and reconvene into a public hearing. We're on 13 now.
That's the public hearing. If we're done, if there's no public comment, we're closing it and moving on to number 13 for ordinances.
Okay. Number 13, there's no comments from the public. And we're moving on to item number 13, the ordinance. Number 1, ordinance 025-003, that's the Parnell rezone.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Staff is requesting a first reading of ordinance 025-003, an ordinance of the City of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, rezoning Graham County Assessor's Parcel 102-19062, addressed as 815 West Court Street, from the CMH Conventional Manufactured Home District to the C3 Light Commercial District. And we have just held our public hearing, and the Planning and Zoning Commission has held theirs. And the draft ordinance is attached for your review.
And we'll need a motion for the first read.
Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance 025-003, the Parnell rezone.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 025-003, the Parnell rezone. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Then we'll move on to item.
Mayor, I need to do the first
read.
read. This completes the first reading of ordinance number 025-003, Parnell rezone, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, effectuating a map amendment rezoning Graham County Assessor's Parcel number 102-19-062 from City of Safford CMH Conventional Manufactured Housing District to the C3 Light Commercial District.
Thank you. Then we'll move on to ordinance number 025-004, the Webster rezone.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Staff is requesting a first reading of ordinance O25-004, an ordinance of the City of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, rezoning the majority of Graham County Assessors Parcel 101-07157A and portions of parcels 101-07157B and 101-07092 from the C2 Highway Commercial District to the R2 Multiple Family District. The council has just held their public hearing that was required, and the Planning and Zoning Commission has held their public hearing, and a draft of ordinance O25-004 is attached for review.
We need a motion for the first read.
Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance O25-004, the Webster rezone.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 025-004. That's the Webster rezone. All in favor? Opposed? Read it.
This completes first reading of ordinance number O25-004, Webster rezone, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, effectuating a map amendment rezoning a majority of Graham County Assessors Parcel number 101-07-157A and portions of parcels 101-07-157B and 101-07-092 from City of Safford C2 Highway Commercial District to the R2 Multiple Family Residential District.
Thank you, Bea. Then we'll move on to item number 3, ordinance number 025-002, the amendment to Title 13 Public Services. This will be the second read.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we're requesting the Mayor and the City Council approve the second reading of ordinance 25-002, an ordinance of the City of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, amending Title 13 Public Services, Chapter 13.20.020 Municipal Water Systems of the Safford Municipal Code. This is strategic goals of growth and development. This is the final leg of what we've been working towards for the last few months. The city has historically managed our municipal water systems through city code and ordinance. This process is only enforceable to our customers that live within our city limits. As the city provides services to our customers outside of the city limits, the city needs to adopt policies and regulations that create a contractual relationship with all of our customers, including those in other jurisdictions. The city needs to adopt policies and regulations that clarify their contractual relationship that the city has with all of our customers, including those in other jurisdictions. Through this contractual relationship, the city has the authority to administer all of our policies and regulations. So this evening, staff recommends a second reading and approval of ordinance 25-002 with an effective date of today.
I think this ordinance number 025-002 is long overdue. It's good now. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Naction. Anybody else?
Is this when I ask you what question I had for you on the water efficiency ordinance?
So, Mayor and Vice Mayor, what you brought up was some. We're gonna go back and look exactly how that impacts it. It's not clearly defined in this ordinance specifically around what that is, and so I'll go back this evening and pull this up and see exactly where we have that recorded in our policies and processes right now, and then bring that back for you.
Okay, at that time, the rest of them will see, we can get the rest of them to see what it is.
Definitely.
Okay. Now, that means tonight, we may adopt what you're talking about, second reading?
Yeah, so this would be the second reading, and then we'll have a resolution.
Okay.
Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance O25-002, amendment to Title 13 Public Services.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 025-002. It's an amendment to Title 13 Public Services. All in favor?
This approves ordinance number O25-002, an ordinance of the City of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, amending Title 13, Chapter 13.20.020 of Municipal Water System.
We'll move on to item number 14. Number 1, Resolution R25-012, Water Guidelines.
Good evening, Mayor and Council again. This is the resolution 25-008, a proposed update to our Safford Water System and Administrative Guidelines and Policies. We spent multiple days and weeks looking through these and changing these to reflect exactly what we want the city of Safford to have in our policies and procedures for our customers. Our strategic goal through this is growth and development. Again, we're looking to be able to have our customers all live under the same rules and regulations. The city of Safford has historically managed our water system through city code and ordinance. This process is only enforceable to our customers. We need to adopt these policies and regulations that create these contractual relationships with our customers, including those in other jurisdictions. So tonight, staff recommends that the mayor and council approve resolution R25-008, a proposal to update Safford Water System administrative policies and guidelines.
I was just wondering, were the curtailment fees posted for the 60 days that were required?
So the curtailment fees that fall within this,
Yes.
they're not fees specific.
Yeah, we have Bill on the line. He can explain that. Bill, can you explain that for Council Member Flores?
Is he still on the line? Bill, are you on mute?
Test 1, 2.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, this has been a challenge. I sent some emails on this. I do think we need to consider that, but I do think they've been posted, haven't they, be or not?
No, Bill, per your advice, we did not have to post the curtailment fees.
Yeah, and I believe the conversation between our attorney and our water attorney was that these are actually legally considered a tariff, and therefore were not required to be posted. That was the correspondence that I received.
Okay, we will go. Your water attorney weighed in, then I'll abide by that. Yes, okay.
And B, can we clarify for the record on the CCNF, we have R25-008 on the agenda, it's 012.
Oh, yeah, it should be R25-008.
Okay.
While we're asking questions, what's the 08 ED? It looks like it's the last part of another word that didn't all get in there.
Where are you looking?
Under the purpose section. So Mayor, Councilmember McGuire, I think that was some poor typing skills on my part.
I just thought the first part of the word might have got left out there right after R25-008, ED new and updated Safford Water System.
Yeah, I think it was just.
I think there's another piece of word in there.
It looks like a typo.
Yeah, this is just the new and updated
So-
Safford Water System.
For the record, it's resolution R25-008, right, B?
That's correct.
Not 012.
Correct.
Anybody?
I move we approve resolution R25-012 or 008.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve resolution R25-008. That's water guidelines. All in favor? Opposed?
This completes the approval of resolution number R25-008. a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, approving the updated policies and regulations of the Safford Municipal Water System.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item 2, Resolution R25-013. That's the airport T hangar contingency request.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request from Mayor and Council to approve the expenditure of contingency funds for the airport T hangar construction project. The CIP number is AP 2302. The strategic goals for this CCNF are growth and development and financial management. Background, during the 2022 budget process, Council allocated $640,000 in ARPA grant funding for the construction of T hangars at the airport. These T hangars would add to the existing 4 T hangars at the airport, allowing the airport to move through its extensive waiting list for hangar space. On June 10th, 2024, City Council approved a bid for the construction of 10 new T hangars at a cost of $674,918, including the expenditure of contingency fund to cover the additional cost of the bid and a 10% contingency. That bid did not include providing electrical service to the building, wiring the interior of the building, or paving the taxi lane and aprons to allow aircraft to access the hangar. These subtasks were planned to be completed by city staff. However, due to current workload on electrical and streets department staff, completing this work would take at least 12 months. Staff were in receipt of quotes from the contractor for a change order to complete the required electrical improvements, along with a quote from the Grand County Electrical Co-op to place the transformer and attach the service to the meter. Staff plan to utilize the Arizona Department of Corrections asphalt crew to complete paving work on the project at minimal labor cost, with the city providing materials. Staff has found that in order to complete the T hangar project and moreover to complete the project before the end of the fiscal year, use of contractors is required. Since this project will generate revenue to the tune of $37,800 per year, completing the project in a timely manner is critical for the revenue flow to begin. And I do have, and I apologize, this is not on the screen. First. I do have a budget breakdown for you as well. So to briefly walk through, we have the initial $640,000 in grant funding. The authorized contract, including the 10% contingency cost, was $742,409. The construction contract, which was issued and the construction is now complete on the building, was for $674,000. Change order number 1, which is currently in progress, was completing dirt work to get ready for asphalt. The items in red that I mentioned earlier have not been completed yet and are necessary in order for the building to be used. So we're requesting $77,591 in contingency request. And staff is recommending that Mayor and Council approve resolution number R25-013, authorizing the expenditure of contingency funds in the amount of $77,591 to complete all required work to complete the T hangar project. And I do also want to mention that we have 2 items tonight for this. This is the contingency request, and then the city engineer will, if approved, will bring a award order to change the bid for the contractor, since there'll be a change to his contract. And at this time, I will stand for questions.
Cameron, do you have a ballpark guess on what using Arizona Department of Corrections to do the paving is going to save us?
Mayor Ortega, Councilman Mogoy, I don't have an exact number, but I know based on current paving costs, the labor is a huge cost for us because we have to bring contractors in from out of town to complete a project of that size. And the Arizona Department of Corrections labor cost is 50 cents an hour per inmate. So we're essentially not paying for the labor, we're just paying for materials on that project.
Just wondering what you had budgeted for that to begin with.
We budgeted $5,000 for fuel and labor. They do require us to fuel their equipment, and essentially we'll pay more in fuel than we will in labor costs.
So you had planned on them doing this from the beginning? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. Thank you.
Cameron, I had a similar question or about the same topic, or maybe it's for John. Do we have an arrangement with the DOC, or is it just kind of on a per issue basis of whether we decide to use? Because I know we haven't been using them.
They're not always available.
Mayor Ortega, Councilmember Hemp Hill, we used to have an agreement.
Right.
I don't think we have one at this point. So right now it's on an as-needed basis. In fact, I think we just recently figured out that we Did you have something else?
It's, yeah, it's
3 months left. Okay, so we do then. I thought it expired. And so this is relatively new, though, using these crews to do pavement work. And this is a result of conversations that we had with DOT trying to bring inmate help back in and also use them if we can at places like our golf course.
So after the 3 months, we wouldn't be able to do this without renewing that? Okay, the reason I ask, and it's not going to change my opinion of this, but I have some philosophical issues with DOC. The 50 cents an hour work that but that can be resolved if and when we look to renew that.
You say you have talked with the camp and they're willing to do it?
Yeah, so Mayor, Vice Mayor Lopez, both myself, the finance director, and the deputy finance director met with the folks down there at the San Jose prison. They just recently started this asphalt crew. They needed to pave around their own facilities, so they went and rather than hiring an outside contractor, it was cheaper for them to purchase the equipment and train their inmates to perform the labor. And now they're able to lend those workers out to other municipalities, including us, and we're already on their schedule for them to be able to complete the work.
That would be kind of on-the-job training for them when they get out.
Exactly. It's a beneficial training program for them, Mr. Mayor. They express that a lot of those inmates end up coming off that crew and going on an actual paid asphalt crew on the outside.
I think we ought to get her done because it's a money-making deal out there.
I just have one comment. I think it's great that we recognize that, it's not possible to do it quickly in-house, and sometimes we spread ourselves too thin in-house. And I think this is a great opportunity to let the contractor finish the work. Great job in recognizing that.
Thank you, Mayor, Councilmember Flores.
I guess I feel a little different. Kind of seems like you want to get it done. And you can't or not willing to wait on our people in-house because you want it done this year.
So Mayor Ortega, Vice Mayor Lopez, so the idea is because it's a revenue generating project, the building is done at this point. We would like to get it done sooner rather than later. And even with that year timeline, the largest portion of the work is electrical work in the building. And after speaking with the electrical department supervisor, he expressed that it would be an extremely long process, mainly because of setup and tear down. Every day that they're working out there, they'd have to go set up all their tools and equipment, use them for a few hours, and then break them down so they can use them on another job. So rather than being able to get all the work done at once, it'd be broken up here and there when they're able to find the time.
Now, is that the electrical work in the building or out front?
In the building and trenching to the transformer and connecting to the new transformer as well.
And you are suggesting our department can't handle that?
They can handle it, they just can't handle it within the next year.
And then the contractor you have out there now, he's not an electrical contractor. He's going to have to subcontract some of this work out too, which is raising the price.
He does have a sub for this, Vice Mayor.
Maybe we can get the inmates to do it for nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just had to jab that in. That'll be later.
And so I guess it comes out when the engineer comes up with the next questions. Because there's some invoices that aren't itemized. It just, this is the price, and it doesn't say what they're going to be doing, how much conduit, how much cable, or anything. Usually you get an itemized invoice, and it doesn't show that.
And we do have that, Vice Mayor. We just didn't have it in this. We have an itemized list of the work that they're going to complete.
Okay, sir.
Mayor, I'd just like to add that I agree with Alma in terms of, I think we should look more at finishing projects that are taking too long with contract. It does cost more money. And I think it would be, the important part of that would be differentiating between an urgency in the community versus impatience with staff. My view wouldn't be that Cameron's just impatient to get this done as opposed to it's more of an urgent need that we should fill.
I don't think he's any more impatient than me. You didn't read that. I want to get it done too.
Right.
Sometimes my words may sound that way, but I just want to make sure that we're heading and we're gonna get it done, because sometimes it seems like, all of a sudden, we're planning something, next thing you know, we jump to contingency funds, and I just question that sometimes.
Well, and I hear what you're saying. My experience is the opposite, that we don't just jump right to contingency funds. We'd have a splash pad at El Paso if we did that.
And I just wanted to comment, Mayor, that if we look at some of the projects that we've been working on, stuff like Owens Family Park, for example, it's been on the books for about 5 years, and these projects are taking an inordinate amount of time. So there comes a point where the money, the time, and the people are the three elements you're working with, and we seem to have a lot more funding available than we do people and time. And so a lot of times our folks have been hired to do building maintenance. And so we pull them off building maintenance jobs to go out and work on these projects. The larger the projects are, the more they get extended. And so this project, unfortunately, when it was originally conceived, didn't apparently conceive for paving and electrical work. And so now that's something that we've had to add to it at this point when we did the original ARPA funding of the project. And so at this point, when we brought the issue to our electric department, when you're looking at another year, that's a year of about $36,000 a year in revenue that we could be getting if we hook up the electrical in a more timely fashion, hence the desire to contract some of this stuff out, right? Time becomes more of a factor. And in fact, you start to generate some revenue, not to mention the fact that we have a list of people at the airport looking for hangars for a number of years. This will help fill a lot of those. So it's not just this project, and this is something that we're going to be looking more at in the future, which is making sure that we're contracting out those projects that simply would get so drawn out in-house that they become somewhat impractical, like the Owens Family Park situation. So again, I just want you to be aware of part of that, because you'll see more of this as we go forward.
We have to remember that staff can only do so much.
Planning. A little better planning then.
Okay, it's an action item.
Mayor, I move that we approve Resolution R25-013, Airport T hangar contingency request.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve resolution R25-013, Airport T hangar contingency request. All in favor? Opposed?
This approves resolution number R25-1013, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, adopting a change to the FY 2025 Capital Improvement Plan for the Safford Regional Airport.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to item 15, new business. Item number 1, the reappointment of one planning and zoning commissioner.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Staff requests the reappointment of one applicant to the Planning and Zoning Commission. The strategic goals are public information and outreach. The volunteers on the Planning and Zoning Commission serve an important role in reviewing code updates and development projects at public meetings. Background, the council passed ordinance 22-002 to update the appointment process for planning and zoning commissioners to read as follows. You'll notice in number 4, commission members are appointed for a 4-year term effective at the expiration of each prior appointment. In the event of death, termination, or resignation of a member, the vacancy will be filled for the unexpired term. Analysis, Cynthia DeMarcus was appointed to complete the vacancy left by the resignation of Tracy O'Donnell per section 17.84.110A4 of the City of Safford Municipal Code. Ms. DeMarcus has proven to be a valuable member of the commission and would serve the City of Safford well in a complete 4-year term. The City Council addressed the issue of reappointment in their June 10th, 2024 meeting, and the applicable section of the minutes of that meeting are as below. And for reappointments, the council agreed that the serving member would get the first opportunity to complete the term. Staff recommends the reappointment of Cynthia DeMarcus to the Planning and Zoning Commission, And included in your packet, you have her application. If you have any questions, I will stand for them now.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to reappoint, the reappointment of one planning and zoning commissioner. I sure want to thank you. All in favor? Opposed?
I didn't see Cindy back there.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
You don't have to read it. Then we'll go to item number 2. Everybody have a chance to review the March 10th, 2025 council minutes? Any changes?
Mayor, I move that we approve the March 10th, 2025 minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the March 10th, 2025 council meeting minutes. All in favor? Opposed? And we'll move on to item number 3, special events liquor license application for the 2025 Safford Spring Festival sponsored dinner.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I bring to you the following. Purpose and recommendation to action. This is a request for mayor and city council to review and approve the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Control application presented in support of the 2025 Safford Spring Festival event in association with the Graham County Chamber of Commerce. This year's event includes an extended open container alcohol zone. Excuse me, I'm sorry, jumped it. We're actually on first one. The sponsored dinner event in association with the Graham County Chamber of Commerce. The application requires approval of the local governing body for final consideration by the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Control. Strategic goal is quality of life. Background, the sponsored dinner will be held on Thursday, April 24th, 2025 from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the venue and Vignette on Main Street. The dinner is a traditional pre-festival event hosted by the Graham County Chamber in gratitude for the various sponsors supporting the Safford Spring Festival. Analysis. The Graham Chamber of Commerce Special Event License application provides a detailed security plan which notes the event venue location as an open container alcohol zone for on-site consumption. There will be only one controlled entry and exit point at the venue along with 2 other existing emergency exit points. 2 to 4 event staff will provide security oversight to ensure all attendees purchasing alcohol are checked for proper IDs. Wristbands will be required to identify those patrons able to purchase and carry alcoholic beverages. A 2-drink minimum purchase per bar visit will be enforced and all patron consumption monitored. Staff recommendation is to approve this request. Before you is the actual setup, the plan for the vignette and the venue at Main Street. As noted, the security is in yellow, while the exit points are in orange. I stand before you for any questions. I also have Mr. Vance Bryce from the Chamber to join us. Move we approve it.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the special event liquor license application for the 2025 Safford Spring Festival sponsored dinner. All in favor? Opposed? Carries. We'll move on to item number 4. Special events liquor license application for 2025 Safford Spring Festival.
Again, good evening, Mayor and council members. This request for Mayor and City Council to review and approve the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses Control application presented in support of the 2025 Safford Spring Festival event in association with the Graham County Chamber of Commerce. This year's event includes an extended open container alcohol zone to complement the participating wineries along with the event's traditional beer garden. The ADLLC Fair Festival license approval
is further requested in conjunction with the following wineries and distillery supporting the event. And that's listed as noted. Approval of all the local governing body is required for a final consideration by the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Control. The strategic goal is quality of life once again. The background, the two-day event is scheduled for Friday, April 25th, 2025, and Saturday, April 26th, 2025. The Friday's event will be from 5 to 10 p.m. and Saturdays is 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. with alcohol sales beginning at 11 p.m. on Saturday. The event will take place at the City Hall Lawn, City Hall Drive, Main Street between 8th and 7th Avenues. Analysis. The Graham Chamber of Commerce Special Event License application provides a detailed security plan which will include a cordoned off area identified by barriers to define the open container alcohol zone. Furthermore, there will be two controlled entry and exit points with designated security personnel identified by high-vis vests at each, along with a clear signage identifying the open container area. All attendees purchasing alcohol will be checked for proper ID and provided with a wristband to identify patrons able to purchase and carry alcoholic beverages. A 2-drink maximum purchase limit will be enforced and all patron consumption monitored. The Safford Springs Festival is one of Safford's standing traditions and continues to support our local economic development, along with extending a sense of community pride, and furthermore, standing true to why City of Safford is a great place to live, work, and visit. The staff supports and recommends this approval. I stand before you for any questions, along with Mr. Bryce.
Mr. Reed, have that many wineries committed to come?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor Lopez, yes, that's who we have as of now.
That's a good batch.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a good draw. That's great.
Anybody else?
Good weather, good weather.
I move for a favorable recommendation on the special event liquor license application for
Second.
the 25 Spring Festival. Sorry.
Sorry, Steve. I thought you were done. I second.
Second, to approve the special event liquor license application for the 2025 Safford Spring Festival. All in favor? Opposed?
I wasn't gonna say it was the chair.
We'll move on to item number 5, Cruising Main Street and Car Show Event Support.
Mr. Mayor, council members, this is a request from Mayor and City Council for budgetary consideration in support of a May 17, 2025 car show in conjunction with our 5th scheduled Cruising Main event. Strategic goals, once again, quality of life. Background, in 2024, a meeting was held between the City of Safford staff and the owner of Briscoe's Tattoo Shop to discuss the possibility of holding a co-sponsored cruising event in downtown Safford. Cruising in the past was very popular, especially with our local youth, and unfortunately discouraged in the late 1990s due to the unlawful conduct amongst some patrons. The idea of a cruising event was to bring some nostalgia back to Main Street one Saturday quarterly to the community with a more controlled approach. The Safford Police Department supported the event with visible presence, which included walking patrolmen as well as yielding intersection signal lights along Main Street route for 2 hours from 8 to 10 p.m. to assist with the traffic flow. To date, we have held 4 such events since June with positive response from the community, including several local car clubs and the general public, to whom many came out to reminisce the good old days, as quoted by a longtime Safford resident. Planning soon began on hosting a car show along with the cruise to include food trucks for a more festive scene and to further encourage community involvement. Word of a car show reached enthusiasts from Tucson and Phoenix, and it was later determined that such an event would require more coordination. This event would be held on May 17th from 1 to 7 p.m., with the cruise following from 8 to 10 p.m. Analysis. A car show with such potential will require more support than anticipated. In particular, the 700 block closure with City Street Department assistance and other event related equipment requirements such as trash containers and contractor porta-john services, as well as overall labor costs, and all of which are not in the current special events budget. The owner of Briscoe's Tattoo Shop is planning to organize the car show to include sponsoring award costs for first and third place trophies in 11 categories plus a best of show, and is hosting a live disc jockey. Holding a car show along with the scheduled cruising main event will draw more community outreach and is bound to increase outside patronage. This event will support our local economic development along with extending a sense of community pride and furthermore standing true to why the city of Safford is a great place to live, work, and visit. Staff recommendation is to support and fully recommend this event. Standing before you for any other questions.
Anybody have any comments or
I disagreed that in the 1990, due to unlawful conduct among the patrons, it was stopped. Everybody was good.
Yes, Mr.
Nobody
Mayor.
broke the law. We was all good.
Mayor, I did want to point out that, we brought this event back, and it's been pretty successful so far, and now we're even seeing what we hoped for, which is that there will be other activities in addition to the cruise. So already the event is starting to kind of take on legs of its own and continue to grow. And again, these are the kinds of things that get people to our community and encourage economic development and tourism type activities. So it's nice to see within a relatively short period of time how successful this has been.
I just hesitant because it's stretching our employees out again in another event. And do we have them? We just went through having to pay time and a half from lack of personnel.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor Lopez, yes, it is in consideration about what's going to cost as far as labor and as far as availability. But being that we're just looking at closing the 700 block and possibly a portion of the 600, it would just be requirement of the streets to put those barricades up and then to just come back and pick them up along with the trash.
I'm just hoping we aren't stressing the employees straightening out, but that, you'll work it out.
Yes, sir.
You have an idea of what it's going to cost that we didn't plan on?
Mr. Mayor and Councilmember Goy, I did a rough number on it. It was looked like close to about $4,000 extra, which is not budgeted in our special events.
Are we setting a precedence by letting things evolve outside of the schedule? I mean, I realize we want things to happen, but then we sit down and come up with a schedule, and now we're add one here, tell somebody else no.
Yes, Mayor and Councilman McGoy, when the budgetary oversight came to planning and community development from the council approving the events every year, we submit every year an annual budget for the events that we already know will be happening. This is the first one that has come up outside of that purview, and it was my understanding that staff would bring those back to council and then include them in the annual budget moving forward.
I just didn't want to be telling one person no and somebody else yes if it's outside of our rules.
That's what our guidelines tell us, that we've already made our decision. That's what you said, Jamie. We already appropriated everything, and we would be getting out of that.
Mayor and Vice Mayor, not this year, we would not. So we set the budget for this fiscal year by the standard events that we hold every year. When I first became an employee of the City of Safford, every year in January with the budget process, the City Council approved each event for the upcoming fiscal year. We've moved away from that, and every year I get budget authority for our Merry Main Street and Light Parade that we know are going to happen every year. And it was my understanding that if we do add an event for each fiscal year and each budget year, then we would come back to council for approval for that additional expenditure. The other events that are standard City of Safford events are already on our tentative calendar, and the cruising event is on our tentative calendar. It just has an opportunity to grow at this time.
I was at the barber shop. You can tell it sure did look like a marine again. Anyway, there was a lot of conversation there about the cruising, and it was all positive. I think it's a good move forward myself.
And so, Mayor Ortega, Councilmember McGoy, just to address your question directly, every year we put together a budget, which is a plan. And I think depending on the nature and the magnitude of the adjustments that we make, we have to consider whether or not it would be within our budget purview to cover something like this. So $4,000 within the general fund itself, or even within that department, we currently have a vacancy. So the appropriations in that department are likely will be enough to cover it anyway by the end of the year. So again, it's one of those things where the budget is a plan. There may be opportunities to go beyond that. It really ends up being a question of to what degree that we get these requests. So in this case, obviously, we brought it back for your consideration, but also it's of a magnitude that the amount of money is something that I think we can absorb without too much difficulty. So in some sense, we are creating the precedent that you alluded to, and I hope we get more of them. You know, again, it's something that probably will generate some revenue as well. And so I think it's the kind of thing that we want to encourage, especially when it's of this magnitude. But certainly, we want to be concerned both in terms of the staffing and also of the budget. I don't think the budget will be an issue in this particular instance. And if Councilmember Flores has her way, we'll be paying double time for everybody that goes out there. So we'll be having we'd have to pick and choose between people. So anyway, I don't think this will be a problem is my point. I'd like to see these kinds of things be encouraged and not just cut them off because we didn't have them specifically in the budget.
I agree, and I'm in favor of it. I just don't want you to tell me no when I have my $40,000 event that I want there.
Right. And again, it's all a question of, are there funds available? And if we had an event of that magnitude and we brought it back to you, in that case, we would say we would want to make a contingency request because we feel it's a worthwhile event, and we would try to make the vice mayor as happy as possible by making that contingency request. But again, it's a budgetary issue, and so we would manage it on our end. This one, I think we can absorb. If it was something of that magnitude, then we would, obviously we would have to go into contingency, which really just means essentially you dip into the money that you put for contingency for those things were unforeseen. That unforeseen thing came forward. You already planned for it in the contingency. So the one thing you didn't look for, you can now cover because you did cover it with that contingency number.
And it wasn't just budgetary. We were having kind of a logistical mess at the time, trying to approve the whole year's events in advance, not knowing what might come up. I think that's when we turned it over to planning.
Right.
It was becoming difficult to try to, again, not just from a budget standpoint, but from a logistical standpoint. And as long as anything that's additional is brought to us, I don't see, for approval or not, then that's a good system.
Did that make sense? I mean, that's what the contingency is really designed to do, is to have you have the ability to expend funds for unforeseen events. And by bringing it back to you, we're saying, is this something you would like to proceed with? So you still get to have the input for that, which was not originally in the budget.
Works for me. Especially if we can get some of the employees to decide they don't want that overtime, we can do 3 more.
They'll do it gratis.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope that explains it, because that's exactly what the contingency is designed to do. In this case, the magnitude is small enough where we didn't feel the need to put it in there.
And this is an action item.
Mayor, I move that we approve Cruising Main Street and Car Show event.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the Cruising Main Street and Car Show event. All in favor? Opposed? Then we'll move on to item number 6, property purchase. Assessors parcel number APM 101-13-028.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request for Mayor and Council to approve the purchase of approximately 0.3 acres of, or a 0.3 acre parcel of land owned by PDB Properties LLC located at 105 East Relation Street. I just want to make a note that since this CCF went out, the current owner combined, there was a little parcel and a big parcel. It's still 0.3 acres, but there is a new parcel number, and that's 101-13048. That was updated on the county assessor page on Wednesday. So if you do look up this parcel, it does have a different number than what's listed here, but it's the same property. So this land will be purchased, or this land purchase would benefit the city for future East Relation Street expansion and widening when the city grows and expands to the east. Strategic goal is growth and development. A little background analysis. Staff approached PDB Properties LLC after they'd purchased the subject property and proposed a zone change to raise the existing building and construct a new duplex to see if they would be interested in selling the property. PDB Properties was interested and hired Chaffee Appraisal to complete an appraisal of the property. The appraisal report came back with a value of $90,000 for the 0.3 acre parcel and with existing building. Staff has had discussions with PDB Properties Management and negotiated the value based on the fact that the existing building was not or is not livable, what I should say, and needed to be removed. The value that has been negotiated is $85,000 for the 0.3 acre parcel. Therefore, staff is recommending purchase of the approximate 0.3 acre parcel of land. New APN is 101-13048. Located at 105 East Relation Street for $85,000 plus closing costs and recording fees. Funds required for this purchase, for the purchase of this property would come from the FY 24-25 contingency funds to cover the expenditure with her funds. Her fund reserves would provide the revenue. And I stand for questions.
Do you have any questions?
Mayor, I move that we approve the property purchase of assessor's parcel number 101-13-028.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve property purchase, assessors parcel number 1.
Motion needs to reflect the 048, isn't it?
Oh, did I say it wrong?
Yeah, it's 101-13048 is the new parcel number.
Can I remove B?
You can redo it real quick.
Okay. Mayor, I move that we approve property purchase assessor's parcel number 101-13-048.
A second.
Would that be changed on this map too?
Yeah, I have an updated map. I could actually pull it up and show it to you if you wanted to see it.
Well, it's just as long as it's done. That's fine.
I can get you the updated information for the
Thank you.
meeting minutes.
Property purchase, assessors parcel number 101-13048. And that's an item. Yeah, we need a vote. Oh, all in favor? Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Number 7, T-Hanger Construction Change Order, CIP number AP2302.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request for Mayor and Council to authorize additional funds for a change order to complete the electrical work for the T-Hanger construction project. Strategic goals are infrastructure development and maintenance. Background, Mayor and Council approved a bid award for the T-Hanger project to Trailer Construction LLC on June 10th of 2024. The original scope of work for the project was to construct a foundation and building shell with electronic doors. The scope of work for the original contract was completed in February of this year, and since the completion of the original contract scope, staff has requested the contractor do additional grading and subgrade preparation around the perimeter of the site to prepare for future paving, and has issued change order 01 to do so. In addition to change order 01, staff is requesting additional work to be done by the contractor for electrical work, known as change order 02. Analysis is change order 02 will bring the total project cost beyond the authorized contract price, which is the construction contract price, including 10% contingency. So a quick budget recap. You got most of these numbers from Cameron earlier, but the budget from 2023-24 was $640,000. We awarded the construction contract for the 10 T hangars for $674,918. With 10% contingency, that brings it to $742,409.80. Change order 1 for the grading work was $47,000. That's taking place right now. And now we're looking at change order 2 for electrical work to bring power to the building and power up the building for $35,305. That brings our total project cost to $757,223. So the additional funds that we need to complete this second change order is $14,813.20. Staff recommends that mayor and council approve the additional funds and allow for the original awarded contractor, which is Trailer Construction LLC, to complete the second change order for electrical work, totaling an additional $14,813.20 from the general fund. I stand for any questions.
It's an action item.
Mayor, I move that we approve T Hanger Construction Change Order CIP number AP 2302.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve T Hanger Construction Change Order CIP AP 2302. All in favor?
No question.
Go ahead with, you'll have to have the discussion first before the vote.
Never mind.
You didn't, Vice Mayor, you didn't want to have your discussion?
Oh, ma'am.
Okay, you can proceed with the vote, Mayor.
All in favor? Opposed? Carries. And we'll move on to item number 16, contracts and agreements. Number 1, uniform rental and laundry, 5-year contract.
Mayor and Council, Troy Bingham, your Finance Director. I'm here tonight in a long 9-month process to get us new uniforms for the City of Safford. These are little things that we do at the City of Safford that we're not really aware of, but tonight's is a request for Mayor and City Council to authorize the City Manager to enter into a contract with Mission Linen Supply Mission for employee uniform rental and laundry services for the next 5 years. Our current contract is with a different company that we obtained through a cooperative contract some numbers back. Those cooperative contracts are competitive in bid and they are allowed by our procurement policy, but the contract ended in August of last year. So since August of last year, we've tried to negotiate with that current company on their competitive contract, and we could never come up with a price. At one time, I was quoted twice as much as what we're paying tonight with Mission. So after battling with that contractor for a few times, we decided to do the right thing and go out and actually do a request for proposal. So this is a long process, but we started in January. We put it on the street on January 6th. It went out in the paper twice. We had 3 firms respond. 1 firm was kicked out as non-responsive due to the fact that they didn't complete the full proposal. They gave only a half answer. So we went with the 2 that gave responses. We evaluated them as a committee. Both utilities and public works weighed in heavily on this since all of their employees do wear these uniforms. And we finally were able to settle on Mission for the price that we're currently paying right now through the existing contract that existed 6 months ago. So after all that, we're finally here with Mission with a 5-year guarantee of price and no changes whatsoever. We're not accepting any sort of outside pricing from any other type of change in the work. We are approving for the next 5 years what uniforms will cost us, which is about $55,000 a year, which comes out to about $340,000 for a 5-year contract. You pay for this 1 week at a time per every employee, so you're paying sometimes $9 sometimes as little as $1 a week. So this is a death of 1,000 cuts. You slowly pay this amount, but it is, over time, it adds up to a lot of money. So that is why I brought it tonight to the council to make a final decision on this contract, and we look forward to doing business with Mission for the next 5 years. With that, I turn the time back over to the mayor and council to make a decision.
Now, you said you talked with the committee and stuff. Did the employees get to see these uniforms and try them?
So not every employee could be on the committee, but we did have representatives from both Public Works and Utilities. And their job was to communicate what these uniforms look like. That is part of the responses. They had to actually give samples. So we have come up with a set uniform for all employees, and then there'll be fire-resistant options now in our uniform contracts. So they've all been vetted with the employees. I'm sure some will be happy and some will be unhappy, but at least we'll have a uniform, and that will be continuous across the entire city. The whole city will have matching types of uniforms, even if the color is a little bit different, but the uniform style should be exactly the same no matter which employee you look at. So
They didn't get to choose from different stuff.
there was multiple options. Again, these firms offer catalogs that are 100, 300 pages long. So we wanted to go with one that could universally fit all of our options that we do here at the city, from parks all the way up to digging trenches and gas. So we limited the amount that we were looking at, but we did come down to a final decision, and this Mission uniform was the one that we could live with. You do get 4 different Levi options there is, though, but the uniform will be pretty unique at the top.
They'll have 4 different options.
I wanted to come and have them model for you tonight, but that was shot down by the city manager.
Yeah, I guess what I'm getting at, did the employees get to try anything on for a length of time and look them over and see if they like the way they fit and stuff like that?
They did. That's part of this RFP process. There was a week-long evaluation of the uniform, so.
And then not all
And there was
of
about
them-
5 different employees trying on 5 different fits for each one of the companies, so.
'Cause I've been on the other end where somebody chose my clothes for me and it didn't work out for 5 years.
I think you'll like it, and I hope our employees will appreciate what the city of Safford does for them.
Okay, because, all right, now currently, there's some, I've seen Carhartt on some pants and name brands on different things, and jackets. They provide jackets with this.
So we wanted to give an option. Right now, there is no jacket quote in there. Right now, they will launder any jacket we purchase from them in the future, but we have not locked ourselves down to a specific jacket as of yet. So it's past winter. We're not going to be ordering them right now. We wanted to give ourselves a year to try out the uniform that we currently have, and then we can talk jackets for it. But we did leave that option in the contract for jackets.
Okay, because we don't really get to see a true expenditure of clothing in our budget.
You're right. It's through the P card process, and like I said, it's $1 sometimes for some employees, and it's as much as $9 for some other employees, depending on what they're wearing. So,
Some jackets are $380 for a Carhartt.
and so again, this is a way to lock in our pricing, and it will not be $380 for a Carhartt jacket. So,
Well, I see a lot of different things going on, and it don't seem to be organized, or I'm not sure what's going, and I never see it on the budget. I see $200 on boots, I see that, but I don't see any other expenditure limits, or like the police have a certain quota they get for their uniforms.
Yeah.
Some of this has gotten out of hand.
Mayor, Vice Mayor Lopez. So as you can see, this chart that I'm showing you here, this is what will actually be in their fiscal year 2026 budgets. The jackets are not included in this currently, so whatever option we do finally choose on that, it might modify their numbers a little bit, but right now, this is what we're looking at for fiscal year 2026 for every department, and we believe this will meet our needs that we currently have. And there is a line specifically in the line item budget that you could see uniform costs, and we can point that out in the budgetary process, especially when we come back in 2 weeks, we can point those uniform lines out for you.
And everything will proceed like it has been along, and nothing will change.
I'm trying to make a lot of changes. I'm trying to create a uniform across the city. I'm trying to create a set budget, and I'm trying to keep people to those set budgets. So
Okay, I can only help you try.
I can try.
Okay.
Thanks, Troy, for that 9 months you've been doing this.
Thank you. If Luke only knew.
I think we need to, I mean, you sound like you don't like that the employees aren't wearing similar uniforms. But I think for 2 years now, this existing contract has not been filled. Changing out of it is what needed to happen probably, because I've talked to 2 people just today who can't get their pants back, don't know where they went. And that's probably why one person costs $1 and somebody else costs $9, because their shirts and their pants, if they get ripped up, they come back washed with a bigger hole than they left with. The contract that just expired in August was not being fulfilled, so it's time to get out of there. And in theory, they'll start all with new uniforms. They should look alike.
Yeah, I've been on that in Mr. McGoy where the clothes were somewhat inferior. They did tear bad, and you almost felt like a prisoner too.
Well,
So I'm hoping the employees
are
get
tired
what
of
they
washing
want.
their own Levi's.
Thank you, Councilmember McGoy, Mayor. Councilmember McGoy, that's one of the things I should have pointed out as I talked about this contract is we didn't get a guaranteed level of service that we were appreciative with these cooperative contracts. So by doing our own RFP and as I've negotiated with these companies, I've made sure that they have guarantees and penalties for not following certain customer service levels that they need to, so that the city of Safford doesn't have to suffer from poor customer service and poor management. So thank you for pointing that out. That is part of this new contract that I'm trying to get fixed with the old contracts.
Anybody else? It's an action item.
Mayor, I move that we approve a uniform rental and laundry 5-year contract with Mission Linen Supply.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the uniform rental and laundry 5-year contract with Mission Linen and Supply. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, then we'll move on to item number 17, the financial reports. Number 1, any questions on the P card reports? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
One, the targets out on the range for the police, does everybody share in coming and shooting at them targets?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Those targets are used for us specifically.
Just you?
Yeah, if other departments use our range, you have to bring their own supplies.
I know sometimes y'all get together and have shots.
Yeah, those are for us specifically, so they have to bring their own supplies if they want to use their range.
Thank you.
Yes,
Chief.
sir.
Anybody else? If not, then we'll move on to revenue over 5,000. Any? None? Okay. And we'll move on to number 3, expenses over 5,000.
Hey, I have one question. We brought propane and a tank from Cochise County Farmers Association.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, that tank was for airport fire training that we conducted, and we had to get it through Cochise. The local suppliers weren't able to supply a tank with a liquid connection on the bottom, so we had to go down to Cochise County Farmers Association for that.
But you gave it a try.
Yes, we did. We called everybody for 3 weeks and ended up having to go down there.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? Okay, then we'll move on to item number 18. Report on operational items. Anybody?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you guys being here. I just wanted to come before you tonight and give you an update. Earlier this year, you had some citizens come in from 18th Street off of 20th Avenue with a traffic complaint. Since that time, After hearing the complaint, we were able to speak with them a little bit and hear them out, get a little bit of a picture of what it's like living in that area. We recently expanded 20th Avenue a little bit. We have a little bit more traffic, and with that, it brought concerns of speeders and a little bit of a safety issue in that area. So we jumped on it kind of immediately, put some observation in, observed, yeah, definitely we do have some speeding. We utilized our radar trailer that we've had. It's an old trailer, but it still works well, and it has the ability to show the driver their speed. And I think what we've seen is a lot of it is inattention. We have people driving down the road, and with that sign, they see that and look at their speedometer and realize that they're speeding. So an ADOT engineer in a traffic study we've had before said there's three things to address problems with traffic and speed, and it's engineering, education, and enforcement. So engineering, the road got a little bit bigger. We had cars start going a little bit faster. Our role is to give a little bit of education, put that radar trailer out to show, hey, we have an issue here, you're going a little bit fast. And the third part is enforcement. So with the complaints that we have and with the things that we observe, we've increased enforcement in the area. We have over 100 documented contacts, some warnings, some citations issued over the last couple months, specifically in this area that they've asked us to focus on. So we definitely have increased our presence there. A follow-up was conducted with Mr. Hancock and Ms. Bingham. They had talked about being here tonight. I missed them, but one thing I do want to say is I really appreciate the cooperation that happened there. Them bringing the complaint forward and sharing their concerns with us, and then the follow-up that they conducted. I know Mr. Casella received an email or a phone call from Ms. Bingham shortly after, within a week or two, and that's what our goal is. That's the mission of our department, is to get out and work with the citizens. When we have a problem and they bring it to us, that collaborative effort, it really kind of shined through in this occasion. I feel like we've been successful in listening to them, going back and doing follow-up. They feel that we've been successful in reducing the speed. That radar trailer, they said, has been a huge help. And with that, we're looking into purchasing in the next month or so an additional sign that will be a speed monitor and show and I believe give us some traffic study info also.
I gotta say, good job, because I know right after we talked about the last council meeting, I think within about a week after that, a person I know, not my family, but they got a warning, so they had to go to school. Good job. You slowed somebody down.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next morning after our council meeting, I went to work and I could hear you guys stopping cars. So good job.
Couldn't we use some more pole mounts?
That's kind of one of our plans, is to look at, because this I know we're addressing this complaint specifically, but overall our complaints that are coming into the police department are a lot of speeding in different areas. So we're moving this trailer from neighborhood to neighborhood and kind of being effective in moving with it. So we are looking into some more like pole mounted speed signs. So that's something definitely going forward is our plans to address some of these problem areas. Like I said, a lot of it, you have your habitual speeders and you have your people that purposefully speed, and that's where our enforcement comes in. But then you have your ones that just, it gets away from them. And I feel like these signs are pretty effective in helping to curb that. So that's definitely a direction we're looking in.
So hopefully you can get some more pole mounts.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 19, announcement of current events.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I'd like to introduce a newest member of our department. Stand up here. His name is actually David Gomez, but he goes by Jacob, which is his middle name. Today is his first day. He joined us from the Graham County Sheriff's Department, came over after 10 years. He's a lifelong resident of Safford, went to Safford High School, so he's a homegrown product. I just want to introduce him. Great officer. We've had the opportunity to work together. And if you see him out there, stop, say hi. Hopefully you're not on 20th Avenue when he stops you. So, but this is Jacob Gomez. I just wanted to introduce him to you guys and let you know we are back fully staffed at this point. So we have one in the academy. We'll be getting out here in about 2 months, so it'll be a good thing.
For joining us.
Yep.
Welcome.
Homegrown?
Homegrown.
They know your face already?
They do.
Well, good.
Grew up with Justin Beachy,
All right. Well, good.
B, can I address just
Good.
something that was on the operational item real quick? Just, you were asking about the pole mounted, so what we're looking into purchasing right now is kind of like you see the pole mounted right there on 20th Avenue, and it has the flashing red and blues, but it'll do traffic studies for us. It's solar powered, so we can move it to different areas. I spoke with the electric division managers. He said that shouldn't be a problem at all. So this is something that they are pricey, well, in my book, pricey, so they run around $7,000 to $8,000 a piece. So getting multiple might not be the issue, answer right now, but mobile is. So we're working on that right now.
Great.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Mayor and Council, I just want to take the opportunity to update you on an event that's coming up next month. I'm going to hand these flyers out. I'll get these emailed to you tomorrow as well, but we budgeted for the household hazardous waste event. We had one back in 2016. We've been feverishly trying to work on scheduling this event. We didn't get support community-wide, so this is going to be a Safford event only. We do have the budget to do it. We're going to hold this up in the PD yard right next to the MIAC. It'll be for Safford residents that have Safford trash service. They'll have to pull in, show their ID, show that they have utility service with trash, and then we'll take their hazardous waste. And the event's scheduled to go from 4 to 12 on April 26th. I'll pull this up just so it's up on the screen here for everybody to see here. April 26th, 8 to 12. We got Clean Harbors coming in to do it. They're the ones that did our last event. Scheduled from 8 to 12. That's based on if we fill up everything that they bring, they'll close early. They did apparently in 2016, but we're bringing more containers. They basically charge you for what you fill up. So we've got a PO with them to do it within budget. Hopefully hopefully we fill everything up and they go home full with good turnout. But if we don't have a good turnout, we pay for what they haul off, basically. You have any questions on that? I just want to get this out. I'll get this emailed to you tomorrow. Start to spread the word. Our PIO officer will get starting to spread that as well. So, thank you.
Lance, does this need to show up separated by these? different?
No, if you bring these items, they'll specifically kind of guide you to the right spot. These items that are listed acceptable, you pull up there, they're going to have, I don't know, 9 or 10 staff members that will take the items right from you and go put them in the appropriate containers.
Thank you.
I had a question
Appreciate
on-
you pulling this off without any help.
What's that?
We still accept refrigerators and we take the gas out of them
Yes, we do, at the landfill.
at the landfill,
this-
$25?
This is, it's $25. This is for items specifically
this-
not at the landfill,
Mhm.
that we don't accept at the
Yeah.
landfill. So, the paints, the poisons, the
Yes, sir.
fluorescent tubes, that kind of stuff, that we don't take. That's what this is specific for. I do want to give kudos, my office supervisor, Amber. She's been working with Clean Harbors, consistently. She's the one that come up with this flyer. She put all this together, so I want to appreciate her help on this as well, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Can we address some security at the golf course? I guess we got burglarized last week, and I was kind of sad to see what they had there. The doors and stuff are not secured very well.
Mayor Ortega, Councilmember Arbizo, sure, we can take a look at it. My understanding was the cameras that were out there weren't functioning. And again, I think the finance director kind of alluded to me today. So again, there's certain things that they should be operating and let us know so that we can upgrade them. But just so you know, today was a day where we've begun a process of doing walkthroughs of all our facilities. So the golf course will be on that list, so we're more aware of where the shortcomings might be. In the meantime, we can look at getting those cameras updated and making sure that it's safer. And we, of course, can look at the doors as well.
Those cameras are pretty outdated.
Yeah, so I think it's time to, and again, that's why we've run into it in a few different places. So the Public Works Director was with us and our facility supervisor as well as the finance manager and myself. So we're going to be looking at all the facilities and taking a look at where some of the needs may be and trying to get them booked out in a more timely fashion.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. We'll move on to item number 20. Request for agenda items. Anybody? Nope. If not, we'll move, we'll close our regular meeting and reconvene into executive session.
Mayor, I move that we convene an executive session after a 5-minute break.
Second.
Motion and a second to reconvene into executive session after a 5-minute break. All in favor? Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, we'll, we'll close the executive work session and reconvene into our regular meeting.
Move that we adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion in 2 seconds to adjourn our meeting. All in favor?
Never did get